Fine and there once was a podcast in the great internet of internets. It was called Fine and Dandy. Muy influential podcast. You have to remember, folks, where there's a podcast, there's a Fine and Dandy.
I'm
Flippity clappity.
editing. I'm like, holy shit. The podcast.
It's a podcast.
We're doing it, everybody. We're doing it. We're doing the thing.
The thing is getting done, and it's getting done right.
We're doing the podcast. That's it.
Welcome back. This is our podcast.
This is our introduction
to our podcast.
We're doing it.
Fine and Dandy is what our podcast is called.
Welcome to it. Welcome back.
Welcome to the Fine and Dandy podcast.
The week. We do it every week. We try.
Every Wednesday, except most days we don't fucking release on Wednesday. But
It's every whenever you think it. It's every week.
We record whenever we record, and then we release whenever we release. And this is one of those times where we recorded, and this is gonna be released whenever it's released.
Really like art. It's artwork. You know, everyone's like podcast. You got to release every week. You know what? Just we release, and you be ready when we do release.
We keep you on your toes, and it might be a bad business model, but we don't care.
You gotta just be with it, stick with it, stay tuned, and don't forget, Doofles.
Stay tuned.
You gotta stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
You have to.
Let's go.
You know how everyone's like, stay tuned? You got to stay tuned.
Yeah, because most people are like, stay tuned for the next episode. We're like, stay tuned to find out if there's going to be a next episode.
What's next? Hey, but Doofles, I appreciate you for always, he's always in tune. For sure. He's always staying tuned. In tune.
Nick Tune.
I appreciate you, Doofles. You're always there. Always there for us.
Groovy Tune.
Like noob. Always.
Ryan.
Our dogs decided this was the best time. They were
y'all
chilling.
Want to record a podcast? Oh, cool. Well, I hope that we don't get picked up in the microphones because we're going to absolutely destroy the living room right now.
I love it, though, because they were so relaxed. Like, all the animals, including the cat, everyone was laying down.
We're showing teeth. All right, guys. Come on.
TV.
That's enough. Come on, guys. That's enough. Go lay down. These guys are a trip. They do what they want because they're popping.
I think
and you do what you want when you're popping.
I'm convinced that they waited. They waited because they were calm. They waited till this very moment to get crazy, get wild. All right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now we're here.
Podcast.
We're doing it.
Dogcast.
We are doing it.
Podcast, bro.
So I know as a podcaster, I should watch more podcasts. I recently have started watching podcasts. I really didn't. And I have easily regretted watching them, actually, more.
Some of them, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I need to search around more for good ones, like some of them that I'm really going to enjoy. But I guess the ones that are mostly, I don't know if it's good to call out podcasts and be a podcaster. I personally don't care because I'm not pay for this shit.
That's fair.
Like I was watching Flagrant. I watched Your Mom's House. I watched I've watched a few of the Burt casts. Theo Von's, mostly comedian stuff, of course. I watched a little bit of what the Nelk Boys, Full Send, and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's ass. Not all of them. Not all of them. A lot of them are ass. So like it's really like trying to catch that moment, you know what I mean? Or like which I get it. You got to catch clips too. You know, it's one of those things.
Some of them is people just having fun with it and doing what they want. You know what I mean? Like Your Mom's House is a lot of that. You know what I mean? They obviously do some promotions and stuff like that too, but that's just because they're huge comedians by now. So relatively, they almost have to for their business. But it'd be dumb not to.
Not just that. I guess what I'm saying is, especially like when people go on podcasting tours, or it's like there's a lot of people that have been on the same. You know, they're hitting every podcast. I guess there are some questions you should ask, but then because I mean, not everyone that watches yours is gonna watch every podcast. So I guess you do have to ask some of those same questions. But for someone who is on the podcast or like a guest, they gotta get tired of that shit. You know, like it's like okay,
Maybe.
well,
It depends on where you're at in your career. Like Bill Burr probably isn't having fun while he's guesting on podcasts. You know what I mean? He's probably just there for well, some of them. You know what I mean?
it
Like,
depends, and that's
yeah,
what
it
I'm
depends.
saying. Okay, when I look at it, that's why I look at Sean Evans as one of the goats.
Yeah.
It's because when he asks questions, it's not the same fucking about this thing that happened in your, but about
Right.
this thing that happened in your career. That's got for I'm not saying for everybody,
Well,
but
yeah, there's a difference between like genuine conversation and then like exploitive like questions. So you're trying to get something like an answer, or you're trying to get a reaction out of somebody's like so that you can exploit that for your own gain type shit. I see a lot of that and of like what you're talking about, but also you got to think like for somebody that's coming up like as a comedian or a performer, a musician of any kind, like going on a podcast work could be like a big break for you. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you would be sitting there getting tired of it. That could be, this could be like your moment type shit. And these people's like network can maybe boost you to a level you didn't even know was possible. But for like, but what I was gonna say, somebody that's already established, I'm sure it does get tiring. I'm sure it does get like, I don't want to go fucking do this shit, but I guess I have to so I can sell this movie or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah, that too. I mean, most of those people are still going on big networks.
Yeah.
Like people just like promoting movies and shit. Are
But
rarely
it's
on.
also starting to trend. Like, there's not as many people going on like late night shows and stuff like that. Like Jimmy Fallon still has his shit, but
It's
like
a podcast.
exactly what I'm saying is like a lot of
Stupid.
it's trending towards like a lot of people like using podcasts as the new like late night, which means that it could trend towards like comedians, performers, musicians like using these platforms as kind of a like stepping stone into like a new career path type shit.
Yeah, I think also we've talked about it a lot too. As podcasts go further, you're gonna have more niche shit, but then there's gonna be a lot of that convoluted, just stupid.
Bullshit.
Yeah, trying to get views and shit, trying to capture like a. It was like you said, flagrant. They're like we're the most energetic. They're just loud, annoying.
Right.
They're just really loud and fucking annoying.
They're funny for sometimes. Like I'd say they're probably funny at least once in every podcast they've dropped. But it's like, my thing is like yeah, I wouldn't claim that I'm a high energy guy. You know what I mean? That's kind of like a weird statement. I feel like somebody might tell you that, but again, it's like, do you have like a high energy? Like, are you like providing energy for the room? Are you just like a super magnetic person, or are you just being loud as shit and not letting other people talk?
It's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah,
it's a little bit. I know. Once again, I probably shouldn't be calling him out, but I don't.
I also, don't think he's gonna see this.
Yeah, he won't. But H3 also.
Yeah.
H3, I hate that podcast. That's literally H3 sucks.
Yeah,
they are terrible interviewers. They're absolutely horrible at their job.
I feel like the same way about like the Adam 22 guy. And all his stuff.
He sucks.
I'm not a fan of it. I see why people are. I mean, I can get it. It's like
bait.
It's like shock value, clickbait stuff, and like asking questions that you probably wouldn't ask if you weren't recording this type shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. It's weird. It's another one of those like exploitive things. Like, I got a reaction. Like, this is gonna be on World Star. Let's go type shit. It's like, who cares?
I mean, it's entertainment.
It is entertainment at that point. I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between like your regular like conversations and that it can be genuine and things like that on certain podcasts, and your pure like shock value entertainment shit, like your full send and impulsive shit.
I mean, like when Full Send got Andrew Tate on there, you just get Andrew Tate on there. Your mom's house, actually.
They had Andrew Tate on there too.
You did, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, teach their own. I would never have him.
You should watch those two. They're two different, completely different podcasts.
Did you see Your Mom's House one?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I saw both of them. I mean, I don't know what constitutes a good podcast. I don't know. Yes, it was good, but not because of what he was saying.
I mean, Full Send wasn't really good either way.
I would say it was a good podcast, like the production quality and everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, what constitutes a good podcast?
Yeah,
like, do you have to learn something from it for it to be a good podcast? Do you have to enjoy it at any point? I enjoyed how stupid that shit was.
That's fair.
I was laughing at like the thought in my head, knowing like somebody, like people are listening to this guy and like saying this dude's spitting right now, spitting facts. I was just like, I can't do anything
in
with
full
this
sin?
information. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I can't do anything.
What
with
about
this
your mom's
information.
house? How was that one? Was it just
See,
funny
I
or?
don't want to be quoted by this, but I believe they had him on because they made fun of him, and then like he like replied, and so they invited him onto the podcast. So it wasn't the same thing as like we got to get this dude.
There's some
on.
Cody Code type shit, like
Kind of.
yeah.
I want to say like it was something along those lines. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was something like that. Either he made fun of them and they invited him on, or they made fun of him and then he replied and then they invited him on. I don't really remember.
Did you watch it though?
Yeah, I watched the podcast. I just don't remember the situation of why he was brought on.
I mean, I'm not worried about why he was brought. I'm just saying in context of how the show was. Was it more funny or were they actually like?
So their show is a little different, like the way that it's set up. They have like a real niche market and audience type shit. Like all of their listeners are super like devoted listeners type shit.
Yeah.
So I would say if you asked any of them, they'd say it was fucking incredible. But also it was probably, in my perspective, like I guess a mediocre podcast. I don't know. I've seen them with a lot of different guests before, but also like whenever they drop a guest podcast, usually like there's like a whole hour before the guest even comes on type shit of them going through some other stuff and shit like that. Like it's kind of a different setup. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's kind of a weird podcast setup, like, but the interview portion isn't the full podcast, if that makes sense.
I think it's weird to me because, like, I think what made me want to talk about this mostly, like, the moment was, all right, so I guess in the comedic podcast world, this is a big moment that happened, right? For me, I'm not gonna lie, I got on YouTube, I got sucked in. I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna watch all this shit, and they did a good job. So that's where I'm like, where do we break the reality portion from the entertainment? Because it really had me thinking, I was like, is this real or is this all for entertainment purposes? So it was whenever, I don't know if anyone knows Bobby Lee.
Everyone knows Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Not everyone knows who his wife is.
Yeah.
And not everyone knows who Brendan Schaub is. But
yeah,
I mean, like everyone's got to know.
But like
who
Bobby Lee
is.
and Kalaya, that's his ex. I don't know if it's girlfriend or wife. But they had a podcast called Tiger Belly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate myself for talking about it too because this has been a breaking story on so many podcasts. But it's in relation more to what the story brought about more than the actual story. Like the story doesn't matter. But I guess in context, of course, it's going to matter. So anyways, essentially, Brendan Schaub had shot a shot at Kalaya while he's married, all this shit, like a while back, whatever. Brendan Schaub got so much hate, not just for that, for his special too. It's kind of sad. Honestly, looking back, at first I was like, dude, this fucking sucks, and it was awful. But I don't necessarily feel bad for him, but I do a little bit now. He released a shit special, so it is on him.
Good. It's not good.
He released it.
I guess you gotta like take the only grain of salt and say like there's a certain level of bravery for getting up on stage and recording a shit special. And then also editing that special and releasing that special. Oh, you got to be real brave to do some shit like that. But, yeah, it wasn't great.
Nah, so long story short, that created a bunch of drama.
Right.
And, like, it created a lot of content. I think it created a lot of space for content for all of them. You know what I mean? Like, that drama created viewers to watch and maybe even them catch new viewers, whether it's people taking Tiger Belly's side or Brendan Schaub's, Fighter and the Kid. That was real life drama. I think like behind closed doors, they were all angry at it. That was such a you don't know though,
yeah,
because it could all be an act. But then Bobby, and all this stuff. But then like a couple months back, right before some events that just recently happened, a couple months back, they brought Brendan Schaub on because Brendan Schaub wanted to basically clear the air and say this is over, this is done. I'm done with it. This should happen. I'm tired of it. I don't want any more of this drama. It's affecting my work. It's affecting my family. It's stupid. Done. And then in that moment, Kalaya was still like trying to get, like that fight, trying to like, no, but what about? It's like, no, this is done. It's like, but when you remember when you did that, it's like, I don't care. Like, he's like, look, I have evidence. This is all I need. We're done. That's it. Even Bobby Lee was kind of just like, I'm done with this, And then they end up breaking up. And it's just like every podcast has basically been on that. You know what I mean? Like, or like in that realm of the ones that I watch. Like, they all kind of sucked into that environment as well, or that ecosystem.
Right.
Now it's like oh, we're gonna have this person on and talk about this. Oh, we're gonna have this person on and talk. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's all just drama though.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just is it real life anymore, or is it all just bits for like
I mean,
for the entertainment?
that's like the same thing with like kind of the tabloid shit. Like all of this shit is real life, but it's not though. It's like it is really a picture of somebody, but the story is written by a person that wasn't there and edited by a different person off site, and then released by and published by different people that don't care about this shit. And that is now the news that people get to receive from the tabloids and shit like that.
But I mean,
It's like it is real, but it's also really not real.
but podcasts kind of are. I guess it's hard to different. It's like the thing I've said before is like whenever it goes back to Island Boys, are they like, do they really act like that, or is it all just like
I mean, so the thing is like you said at that
are they
point,
like a
it's
meme? Are they like a living meme? Like
even if they are really acting like that, then that is who they really are. I mean, if they're always acting like it, if it is an act and they're performing it 24/7, then it's now not an act. It's just who they are.
But what if they're performing it in public 24/7? But like if you know them personally, that's not how they are.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's not the same thing as that would be a performance of a character but that's not a living meme. A living meme would be the person that is like inside that meme so deeply that it is now who they are.
Like the person who's
like the long neck and thick neck dudes.
Oh, dude. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's funny.
They formed like a misfit superhero clan, and like
the internet just blows my mind because you just never know. It's like this is, don't get me wrong. I mean, more than likely with Bobby Lee and all that, it probably is that's their life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're going through that drama for real.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if they did just put all that shit together? What if it was all just, hey, this is the plan. We're gonna break up anyways. Let's make a big deal about it, and we're gonna go on. We're gonna make our podcast rounds with everybody and share our stories, and then whatever project we want to do after that, it blows it up. Some Kardashian ass shit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like with Kardashian shit when you're like, Kanye did this. Who's to say that that's not all a publicity stunt?
I mean,
or Tristan Thompson caught out again. At this point, it's Tristan Thompson's
at this point, it's like, are y'all paying this man millions of dollars to go to the club and cheat on Chloe?
That's
like,
what it feels like. It's what it feels like.
He's like, I don't want to cheat on her anymore. I don't want to cheat on her anymore. I've fucking been crucified by the public multiple times. Like, look, Tristan, we'll give you an extra $500 million if you go cheat on her one more time. We need to sell this show that we're about to come out with.
Lamar Odom. What you're going to do is you're going to act like your life went into the shitter. You're going to do crack, but we're going to take you back and we're going to care for you.
They're going to call you Crack Odom for 10 years, and then they're going to forget about it. Then they're going to forget. People don't forget.
But then we're going to bring you back, and we're going to restorate you? Restoration? Restore?
I just say restore.
Restore. Just restore.
Restorate.
Restoration.
We're going to restorate the hell out of you, Lamar.
Fucking take care of him and shit, bring him back to life, and then be like, we helped him. We destroyed him, but we brought him back.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Like, what part of that? I don't know. Just watching the one, it was the. I mean, I'm probably doing freedom of motion for him, but it was just, it blew my. It was the Bobby Lee, Talia, and then the Brendan Schaub. The one with Brendan Schaub. It was the Tiger Belly with Brendan Schaub, and it was just like, really like heart wrenching in a way. You watched it; it felt like a telenovela in a way, but podcast. You watch heart wrenching, kind of. Just damn, these people are real.
Yeah,
what it made it feel like. But then I was like, thinking, are they? I mean, they're real, but like this situation.
Is this
scripted?
A real situation, or was this like scripted out? Like, even if it was an improv situation, but like you knew kind of where you wanted to go with it, type shit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
all for the views, and then just this whole thing, and it was just crazy.
It's like you can't believe everything you see online, but what can you believe? You see something online,
and just like the podcast, like for me, even if I have guests on and stuff, if I fuck with them, of course, cool conversation. But I just don't think there should ever be. You should make a guest feel comfortable and make people want to come on your show. I think you should have some authenticity. too.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't like the idea that like the guest is responsible for being like entertaining whenever they're there. I mean, it is the host's responsibility to run the podcast and keep things moving forward, and that does take a certain level of adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to a different like some people are going to be loud, some people are not going to, you're going to have to pull it out of them type shit. That's how it works. I mean, not everybody's comfortable speaking on a microphone in a room with nobody else in attendance type shit. I mean, like it is just a conversation, but once people start getting in their head about like the recording part of it and the microphone and the technology equipment and all the different shit that is added to the conversation, it starts to get overwhelming, and then they just kind of shut down. We've seen it before. I mean, I've seen it multiple times, unfortunately.
What?
Like in somebody shutting down on camera type shit. Like as soon as not to be specific or anything.
It don't, yeah.
Well, actually, I can be specific. I don't think he's gonna watch this shit. But even honestly, he even knew about it too. Like Brad, whenever we first started recording Court Vision, he would like shut down, and like he even like stopped one of the releases of one of the episodes. He's like, dude, I didn't say anything in this episode. Type shit. And it's like, it was true. He didn't. He was just like kind of sitting there listening and like agreeing and like, but like didn't really make a point at any point. Like he didn't even say anything really. So it's like that happens. Like people can see the microphone and just like kind of let the flow get away from them type shit. And that's a thing I feel like as a host you have to be able to adapt to. If your guest is feeling a little uncomfortable, you have to be able to like kind of dig in, find out why, or see what you can do to appease that. You know what I mean? If it takes a fucking beer or two, then let's fucking crack one. But like relatively, it's your job as a host to run your podcast. You can't expect a guest to just come on and just be entertaining. It's just not how it works.
That shit was funny though when I was watching one of them. It was just they were telling him he was phoning it in because he wasn't as alive. It's your podcast, bitch.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Interview the motherfucker. You know, I mean, not every guest is gonna be the guest, but it's your job as a podcaster.
It's also like a foreign location for you. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been here before.
Like an away game.
Right, yeah, it's an away game. You want me to come out with my band first?
Right. Like, what's going on here?
I don't know if that's how it works. You're supposed to set the table, and we're supposed to feel kind of nervous, shaking in our boots, like watching y'all set the table, so that when we come out with our band, we kind of like get those jitters shaken off real quick and let that shit ride.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
But I'm also saying, like, if you have a guest on, for instance, if it was your mom's house with Andrew Tate, and it's like a guest you don't really care for or whatever, or like you think is a joke, right? I'm riding with that. I'm riding with that though. And if you feel uncomfortable and you hate the podcast, I do not care. Did you like a waiver thing? It's like if you have to sign one before you go on saying I agree to being on this, right?
Like I'm not saying I enjoy Ebro in the mornings like radio show type shit. You know what I'm talking
I hated that shit.
So what I'm saying is what I can respect about it though is like the one where he had like fucking Kodak Black on and like Kodak was like, we're not finna talk about that. Like, talk about something else or I'm finna leave or this shit is over. And Ebro's like, then it's over. Like, this is my show. You're not finna tell me what we're talking about. Sorry. Like, if you want to talk about something else or leave, that's it. We done. Like, I can respect that. At least you have control over your own show. You're not expecting the guest to run it for you, and you don't have anybody else telling you, hey, this is supposed to be this or that's supposed to be that. It's like, no, run your fucking show or don't run your fucking show. That's how it works.
Entertainment. Media in general. Just like with the idea of, just with TikTok and Twitter and YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not like...
It's like content, just constantly, just the content in general, like the creation of it, are catching bits, just like catching those little small bits, you know, and even just running this podcast and people are like, you should get on TikTok and shit. It's like, bro, what, like, I get it, but some people are good at that shit, and their brains work like that. Mine does not work.
I'm super like not, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have a very scope of understanding as far as like timing and imaging and all these different things you're supposed to pay attention to with social media to either get more traction or more interaction with your posts and things like that. Like I don't care that much, you know what I mean? I should care a lot more because I'm now in the solar industry as well as been running a podcast for 3 years. Don't really have like that much of a online presence type shit. I should probably care more than I do, but personally I couldn't give a shit. Like I don't like TikTok. I don't fuck with. I don't even have TikTok. First of all, I don't like Facebook. I don't like anything like really whenever it comes to social media. I don't even really like being on my phone. Like if that sounds weird at all. Like I don't really like spending that time out of my day like on my fucking phone. But I have to for work, and I have to for this. I have to for other shit, for making connections. But I absolutely do not like being on my shit. You know what I mean? Like honestly, like social medias through like the laptop have been kind of like a little bit more helpful. I'm like feel more engaged with it, I guess. But even that, it's like I'm kind of so far behind on some of this information. It's just overwhelming at a certain
No, it can
extent.
be. There's times where I'll close an app and open it. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Dude,
What the fuck am I doing right now?
Just fucking swipe up and then click that same fucking app, dude.
Fuck, bro.
Dude,
I just refresh it, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck am I? Why am I looking at my phone? Or I just looked at it, and I'll pull it out. I'm like, oh, the same thing. I just like, what am I doing?
It's the same post that was there 27 seconds ago.
What the fuck am I doing? I hate it. It's just so easy to fucking get lost in that. I mean, but that's also why it's so easy to like whenever you open it up, it's got to keep your attention. You know what I mean? You're just so used to like
Yeah, that's fair. And see, that's what I'm saying is just like there's when you're talking about content creation or just content in general, there's so many different aspects that go into making content and go into producing, publishing, releasing, and then marketing all of the different like pieces of content that could come into one network or one YouTube channel or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the ability to do all that shit is definitely something I should want more. I should want that for myself a little bit more, to be able to have that interchangeable like ideals on how this algorithm works versus this one type shit, and understanding how posts should work and how comments should like do. Like I don't care though. It's like that's the thing. It's like that's the only problem. It's like if I gave a single shit, then this would be like good, but I don't, and it sucks because I need to, but I don't.
You should. Yeah, you should. I think the best way is right now we should create just a soundbite, something that's fucking absolutely ridiculous, that would probably create outrage. And oh fuck! And they click on the page and they listen to the whole podcast and it's like, oh fuck!
It's
like,
not even in there.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, it's not even. No, it's in there, but then it's just us talking about making a bullshit ass thing. They're like, oh. Fuck.
Oh fuck! I thought they were going somewhere with this, but see, that's what I was. That's what I was telling you the other day. It's like the new form of releasing like, clickbait shit on like the reels and shit like that is to have whatever they're posting as the cover page or the thumbnail as the last clip in this like 1,000 clip fucking collection type shit. So you're just clicking through this shit trying to find it, and it's not even in there sometimes, and you're just like, fuck you. Fuck you, I shouldn't have did this, and I regret it absolutely, and I didn't get anything out of it that I wanted to.
I don't know how Snapchat even exists anymore.
you real shit though.
I don't know how people I mean I still get on sometimes because some people prefer to message on that first because people, you know, like you meet someone like follow me on my socials.
Well, some people are like, I don't want you to have my number.
Yeah. Respectful. And I think that's the only reason Snapchat exists. That's literally the only reason Snapchat still is a thing.
Yeah.
And then even now you see like Instagram, fuck Instagram. Honestly, I've hated Instagram for so long because it's just like, it's always to me been people try to post pictures like, look at my life. Who the fuck? Even me when I post pictures, it's mostly just like things that like I loved or like really remembered that were like special. It's all festival shit. It's really just all festival shit. Just like, oh fuck, this is the time of my life.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I'm on Instagram. I don't have a presence on there either, but I would say I enjoy pet Instagrams more than people's Instagrams sometimes, because it is that stupid and silly. Just seeing the comments is like, my owner left me alone and this is what I did to the living room.
That's funny as fuck.
But I mean, even though you know it's ran by their owner and it's just like a glorification page for their pet, sometimes it's cute, but there's a lot of people's pages that I'm like, all right, I could have done without seeing this.
It's just weird because, okay, the way that I see it is you have basically Twitter and TikTok now. YouTube is still going to thrive because YouTube, you can still do sketch comedy. TikTok's a little bit shorter. They're making it longer. I think you can do 10-minute videos now, actually, which I've already explained what I think, where that could go. Like, I think Quibi had a good idea with what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They just executed it like dog shit. But if you don't know what Quibi is, it was basically 10-minute shows. So like all the shows, they brought back Punk'd with Chance the Rapper, 10-minute episodes. They brought back Reno 911, which was 30-minute episodes, 10 minutes, So it's just more condensed. And I think they were just too early. With TikTok now, they really introduced it in a new way. If they introduced it like almost like a TikTok thing where you could watch each episode, where it's like another episode comes up or something, I think it probably would have worked.
But also,
but like Instagram is like a thing of the past, in my opinion. People are still using it and they care, but they just took stories from Snap. Like Instagram is such a piece of shit. They took stories from Snapchat, added stories, and Facebook added stories. And then Instagram also decided to start doing the TikTok reel thing.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing that. Facebook and Instagram's done that for like probably at least the last like 2 months.
You didn't see the like last. They put it back, but Instagram had an update to where it was larger screen. Yeah. So it wasn't set up to where you scroll, right? And half the post wouldn't even be the people you follow. So it was all large screen. So you'd scroll and it would be a bunch of reels and just other people's posts. You're like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, I'm not even following any of these accounts. I fucking, like, everyone hated it, so I think they went back.
But see, that's what I'm saying is, like, Instagram and Facebook are running with the same, like, shit, right?
Because they're on Meta, yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. They were both doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, though, I will say, maybe I have an attachment to it. Yeah, like, low-key, I get the most engagement on Facebook, because that's where I think most people go for networking anyways. Yeah. It's the most real version of networking in the sense of if you post and stuff, people will interact, and like you do have more engagement of people that know you. Yeah. And no one's really on Facebook trying to be like, look at me, I'm living the life. It's Facebook. No one can, like, you know what I'm saying?
There's not a whole lot of flexing on Facebook.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it works out better for me on there.
Okay.
That's fair. So when people post stuff on there, you're like, oh shit, cool. Like I know that guy. You know?
I would agree with that. I feel like where Instagram has like more of the visual aspects, like, much like TikTok does, Twitter's more like scrollable. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like random thoughts out in the Twitter sphere, just type shit. You just kind of like, oh shit, that's kind of funny, or crazy, or stupid, or wild. Yeah. But Facebook is that more of like interconnective, like this is a post on kind of a message board for people, anybody that's ever met me type shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely more connected with the people. Like followers on Twitter and shit, that shit doesn't matter. On Facebook, you're not really following.
Yeah, you're friends with people. There's a difference.
Yeah, right. But it's like usually people I've met in person are like people that like I know. Yeah. Rather than
one thing I'll say is about Snapchat is fuck people that have it set to where like if you add them then like their shit has you like subscribe to them. Like fuck subscribing to fucking locals, dude. Like what the fuck is up with that?
Dude, first of all, I just hate Snap.
Hilarious.
I hate Snapchat. I never post a Snapchat.
Like, who do you think you are?
Like I hardly ever post. Even whenever Snapchat was popping, I hardly, like every now and then maybe, but I was not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a primary user for other reasons. I don't like it though. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite. Honestly, iMessage has gotten a lot better with all the different, I guess, things you can do on there now, like with the reactions, the quotes, the fucking emotes, the fucking what is those like animal emoji things, animojis? Have you seen those? It's like you can like record something and it'll be like, I'm saying it's just like it's all in one spot though. It's all like the accessibility. It's like that's all I'm saying. It's like there's the way that they've kind of built it out to now is kind of dope. I would say that's probably my preferred way of like talking to people. I don't like talking to people on Snapchat. That shit's just annoying.
Oh fuck yeah! I don't know why it stresses me out. Like I just like I see like the thing and it's like sent and I'm just like,
I think that's part of my ADHD is just being like any notifications on the little apps. Like I gotta check that shit and get that little one.
Oh no, I look at it. I'm like, do I want to open it? I'm like, I don't know.
I gotta clear that shit out of there. I don't know what it is, but that's just something I gotta do. If I see a notification, I'm running through that shit.
Nah, but like going back, it's just like with TikTok and stuff, I think there's potential in what like I like it and stuff, but a lot of people also think that it ruins certain parts of the industry. And like it's good no, TikTok. Oh. Sorry. Because I mean it does engage people, and it gets it like gets people like, oh, maybe they'll check out the full video, if they like it
Yeah.
enough. But also people are just on their shit. And even with music though, it's helped like a lot of artists who haven't got noticed get noticed on there.
Well, yeah, I would say that, but also it's like,
But also it creates a place where artists can basically just be like influencers and get big and not even like make their own music. You could just pay someone to make music
right,
and then just make TikToks and then get big, and it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, that's almost anything, right?
Any music, I guess that's plants. What a plant is, right?
A plant?
Like an industry plant. I mean, that's basically what one is if you think about it.
Theoretically, I think the idea of an industry plant, and I don't necessarily even want to be quoted on this because I don't know, but I would say from my perspective, the idea of an industry plant is like a label paying for someone to go big. So basically, like taking someone off the street that they think is like a good-looking person with a adequate voice, you know what I mean, to be able to plug them into a studio that they paid for, clothes that they paid for, jewelry that they paid for, in front of a car that they paid for, to make it seem like this person is going big, has been big in their local vicinity, so that if you don't know about them, then now you will. Or if you don't know about them, then you're fucking up because this dude's huge type shit. But all of this was paid for by the label just so they can have a hit record. Does that make sense?
Kind of crazy though.
That's what I would see an industry plan as. If you think, like, obviously there's probably like much higher and lower levels of that, but that's probably your baseline of saying like, we'll pay for you to go big as long as we get 85% of the profits and you get 15%, but it's more than you had at your McDonald's job.
I need to put more thought into it, but I just when I like think about this shit, my brain kind of gets fried. But whenever like I think about just how that shit works, what if we just made our shit? Cause I think about, I'm like, oh, dude, that's all right. My computer's full charge. My dog right now wants to play. Yeah, she's lovable. I love it. Now she's bothering Josh's dog to play.
That's
But
fun.
whenever I think about that, I'm like, why don't we just also just have like sections of the podcast where we literally are just, it's like a joke, but like it's serious. You know what I mean? But it's just like, are they kidding or like?
I mean,
Yeah.
we could. That takes like a little extra level of like preparation for
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but like it's not that hard to.
And
do
then we
that.
take bits from that, and then we just post those bits as the clips, and then the rest of the podcast is normal. But then that whole section is just fuckery.
Yeah.
But for all the people who watch our shit consistent, like and they're like, no, they just do.
Or they're like, another one.
They're like, that shit was dumb as fuck. I loved it. You know what I mean? But it's trolling to an extent. Very much trolling.
Seminar, I call seminar.
Seminar, I call seminar. But I love trolling, not in the sense of people who are just pieces of shit, but it's also hard to tell who is the piece of shit sometimes.
Yeah.
I do love that though. I do it every day in my life where I'll say whatever the fuck I want, and people are like, what? And then they'll take it and they think it's serious, and they'll try to correct me.
Or
And then
even better, they're like, hell yeah, dude, I didn't know I'd find anybody else that shared my beliefs.
yeah, that's always, that's fucked too. That's just
You're just like,
hilarious.
I was joking.
You're like, oh, fuck. We caught one, ladies and gentlemen.
We got him, guys.
Or I'm saying something stupid, which I do a lot, but it's on purpose. And then someone tries to correct me, and they realize I'm kidding, and then they feel dumb because it's like, oh, you were kidding the whole time. Meow. Like, put me the fuck down.
No, he's the cutest. But no, yeah, definitely of trolling because it can show like a person's sensitive side if you like hit that trigger word, you know what I mean? But then you can always just like step back out and be like, I was joking. That's for you.
Which I mean, I don't. It's not even just on like the trigger word type shit. I think in general, like being that person, like whenever I just like act like that 24/7, which is most of it what I do. I'm a very serious person though when it comes down to talking like real shit. But if I don't know you, I don't give a fuck.
Serious. I'm very serious.
So serious. It definitely does brings out like for some reason a side of people where you can get to know them without them even knowing. You know? Like, okay, I see how you react and how you deal with certain issues and certain situations by me just saying something that's absolutely stupid and
right.
unhinged.
And yeah, and it becomes like, I guess, I don't know. Whenever you're known as somebody who's trolling, sometimes it maybe can be hard for people to take you seriously. But like, so you gotta find the joke, dude. Find the joke every time. That's my advice.
Like Mark Norman, just always searching for the joke.
What's that saying? It's like everything's funny if told with the right joke.
Yeah, you gotta tell it the right way though.
Yeah,
like I was having a serious conversation yesterday, and
very serious.
I still was, my mind was still like.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I had to crack a joke or two. I mean, it lightened the mood.
Some might call it mental illness. I call it comedy.
Yeah, I love it, honestly. But wrapping back around to what we were originally saying, it's hard to find when like podcasts and just like content in general. It's hard to realize what's real, like on the internet, especially Twitter. Like I love memes and shit on Twitter. That's all I get on there for. But just like when you look at it, like I have to be like, this isn't real. Yeah, it is. It is. There's an extent of it. Like everything you watch or everything you take in, it's all. There's a sense of realness to all of it. But at the end of the day, like what's real is what like
it's
in your life, like not outside of the computer, like that. What you do with your life is what's real. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's even when people are. It's easy when people are watching this, whatever. Like those are. I mean, most of the people watching us know us, so they're for sure like, hey.
Right.
But if you're watching podcasts or TV shows or whatever the case may be, reality TV, like I don't know these fucking people.
Right.
I don't indulge, like this shit doesn't matter. It's easy to not see those people as real people. And it's even harder when it's like they are real people.
Get up out of here, bro.
Like podcasts and shit. It's like where do we draw the line of realness and it being pretend?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like even for like small time podcasts, there is like even not even just talking about podcasts, really, it's anything. It's like there's a separation between oneself. It's like a three-way separation, like who you are, who you want to be, and then who you allow other people to think that you are type shit. It's like there's like always like a three-way
sun, the moon, and the rising.
No, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I found out what time I was born, so we can find out what all my shit is now.
I think you're a bitch.
I am a bitch, but it's okay.
I think that's your sun, moon, and rising.
Only for you, dude.
Oh yeah, he's my bitch,
Hell
dude.
Yeah, dude. No, but what I was gonna say is like that separation of like oneself and like who you portray other people to be can be a certain level of like what is like the same thing you're talking about. It's like what is real, and this is really who I want you to think I am, but is it really me? Type shit. This is who I really want to be, but is it really me? This is who I really want to be, but is it really who you think I am? You know what I mean? Like there's these different questions. It's like really yes, it is really something, but is it really what you're attributing it to? Maybe not. So like while is everything simultaneously just as real as it isn't real?
Mindception.
Mind fucking ception.
But no,
dude.
I definitely think we should start throwing in just like trolling that shit in here too. Just being fucking
like
fuck off with it. We're gonna just
like some onion shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just start fucking off with it and
just like do an ad read for companies that don't exist.
start getting the homies in on it too. Like get them on the podcast. We'll shoot the shit, and then we just have a whole portion of time where we're just fucking off.
That'd be fire. For
and
sure.
Then cut those bits and then fucking. Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Is it all even real?
Hell kiss.
Is it all made up? It really blows my mind.
Back up off me, cuz.
I do want to say though, TikTok.
Back it up.
I really think like if Quibi comes back, if people start doing like taking skits right and just making 10-minute shows, dude, that shit would be a hit. Like our attention span would go fucking through the floor.
And see, like I guess like kind of what I was talking about before about like people's favorite characters getting like like made for their own podcast type shit, and it's like it could easily be some shit like not like that, but you can attribute that same concept and idea of taking somebody's favorite character from a past show and then exploiting that character to make something new, whether it's a podcast or a new show. That's like kind of, I'm not saying exploiting in like such a bad way. I mean, I enjoyed it, but the fucking Vindicator stuff that just dropped, you know what I mean? Like that was a small portion of the Rick and Morty universe, like literally one episode. It was expanded into a 10 episode short. So it's like things like that are going to continue to happen. People are going to see avenues for old characters that have a fan base that still want more from those characters and start exploiting that easily. I just don't know how like viable it is whenever you talk about like copyright infringement and stuff like that.
That's true. I mean, well, I think they would just hire voice actors and shit to do
Well,
those same voice actors, and those voice actors would have to do like it wouldn't be as fun as a podcast, but it would be like it'd be more scripted. They'd have writers.
Like if you could get like a certain like kind of the same production value and conceptual idea that Duncan Trussell's shit was on.
Yeah.
Midnight Gospel, but just attribute it to other things, like whatever it is, whether you're talking about wanting to hear about how 11 in Stranger Things feels about this and that before she passed type shit. But she died, right? I don't know. No? Okay, I was told something else then. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. I've only seen like 4 episodes.
She hasn't died.
Okay, whatever. You could just expand upon something that hasn't been expanded upon in the show. There's something that maybe was a plot hole, but has the ability to be filled by other art, other content. Does that make sense? Like somebody can point out a plot hole in their favorite movie, and then all the producers would have to do is just go fill that plot hole with whatever creative material they want to create.
I think what's crazy to me right now, I think a lot of like people who do sketches and shit.
Yeah.
A lot of them are older and they're used to the YouTube platform. You know what I mean? Everyone's used to YouTube, sketch work and shit. But you could do what Key and Peele did basically and be like episode 1 of season 1 type shit on TikTok and just do a 10-minute sketch or a 5-minute sketch and just post each episode. And if the sketches are good and short, people will watch them hosts and just flip through all of them.
Yeah.
You just need like a 3-minute, like, because most sketches are like usually 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, theoretically, you can do that on several different platforms.
Yeah, but I think for TikTok, as what I'm saying is like the way that it works.
Yeah.
With the system that it would work a lot, but yeah, it'd work a lot better.
Yeah, I mean maybe I wouldn't say I don't know what it would work a lot better than, you know what I mean, like than like YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
YouTube's algorithms, it's all right. It's not like great though.
I mean, if you're talking about like finding other things like, then yeah, probably not. When you're talking about like staying within the same.
But that's what you want.
Genre
if you're up and coming, you want an algorithm like
that's.
You want to be able to be, you know what I mean? And it's not just that you want people like.
But see, even YouTube has their reels and shit now too.
Yeah, but that's mostly for like pages you subscribe to, watch consistently. It's not to show you new stuff.
I don't use it very much, but I was just saying.
I pay attention to shit like I'm not saying like I'm good at knowing it, but I pay attention to that shit quite a bit to where like
Trying to run a podcast in here, man.
Fucking
we'll blow your leaves another time.
It has to be like every Monday that they do that because I feel like it's often like
yeah, maybe. Right. Maybe this is just their weekly day to run that shit.
Yeah, always a fun thing to fucking run into. But yeah, no, like doing more sketches or doing like writing more shit out. I think TikTok honestly has potential, or even turning into something. You know what I mean? Something else. And networks might even pick up like shorter shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely could change the game. I mean, and the internet in general like has so much potential. I mean, you could do like think about how much less money it would be to produce something like that, a 10-minute or 5-minute thing.
I mean, you would think that it'd be less money, but it's probably not that much less money.
And doing like a 30-minute.
Yeah. I mean, I would say.
I guess you still have to have the set and shit.
When you talk about production, like even sketch production, like it almost might be more expensive or harder to compress whatever you want to compress into 10 minutes, like segments that will actually catch people's eyes. And
the cuts are a lot
30-minute shows
quicker.
You have more sketches in one 30-minute segment, I guess. If you're talking about a sketch show, I guess. But I mean, like, it might be more difficult. Like when you talk about making a short film rather than making a film, like what's obviously making a film would be more expensive because it's more hands on deck, more people that got to be involved. But it's like ratio wise, is it more expensive? Is it more expensive by the minute? You know what I mean? Like I feel like short films are still super expensive.
Yeah, but you gotta think about paying the people that you're paying.
Right.
On top of that, like.
I guess
labor costs.
I guess what I'm getting at is if you talk about a ratio, if you have a 10-minute film and a 100-minute film, one costs $50,000 and the other costs $250,000. Like, what's the ratio there for dollars per minute of actual film that was released? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would not know that.
I mean, you
I
could do it
wouldn't.
real easily. 250,000 divided by 100.
Yeah,
It's
I'm saying like, but do you know
$250
how
per
much
minute.
I'm saying like I don't know the exact like
And then 50,000
amount.
divided by 10 would be
But you're also giving
5,000 per minute.
Yeah, but you're giving like random numbers. What
True,
I'm saying is like I don't know the actual
in
like
that
what
scenario,
the number.
what I was saying is like in that ratio, it would be like more cost effective theoretically to make a bunch of short films and be able to like release them all as like a like subset instead of releasing one film and hoping
I'm
it
saying
does
like
well.
nowadays like in like when we watch Tires, where seminar, I call it you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just used a shop. They probably knew somebody with a
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that camera worked. They probably had like maybe a decent camera. They didn't look like it was, you know.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
And I mean the cast. I don't know if they paid people or it was just a bunch of their friends they gathered together. But I mean, most of those people that I saw
Yeah,
on that
they're-
are the one that are in Gillian Keeves.
well, yeah, no, for sure. That's what I was gonna say. There, a bunch of them are just comedians, but yeah, I mean, you could easily do like a restaurant sketch at Geo's just because we know them. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of places like that we could just do a sketch at because we know the owners. It's just about putting the work together to get that shit going.
That's what I'm saying. Like 10 minutes of that.
Yeah.
It's not as much. You know what I mean? I'm sure the production that went into that. I doubt Shane had so much money that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's not what I kind of meant. I feel like those type of sketches you can definitely produce on like a lower level. But
And I thought they was
talk about
good.
Key and Peele sketches, those are definitely produced at a higher level. Like,
Yeah, but they have like produced
yeah,
style.
absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. Is like, what level are you talking about? Because I mean,
Saying any level. I mean, the internet these days, you don't need high production.
you don't need it. Don't. But what I'm
helps.
saying is a lot of people use it. A lot of
Yeah.
people put a lot of money into their production.
It's just like podcasts. I literally like fucking Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast gets almost just as much views as like TMG or even some of Flagrant's podcasts, like depending on like varying on each one. Like they get almost just as many. Do you know where they do their podcast? In like a house.
Yeah.
In like one of their houses. On like just like like they hold the microphones.
But I don't think that necessarily means much, because for them to get to that level, they had to, become a little famous first. They weren't just episode 1 without anybody knowing who they were ever before that, releasing a episode of a podcast.
But I think that also shows like you don't need a lot.
Well, theoretically, what I'm saying is if you're Barack Obama, you could record a fucking no video like voice memo on your phone, release it as a podcast, and get as many views. So I don't know if that constitutes the same thing as what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is like the people with the bigger production are arguably more famous than.
Well, those
have more
productions
followers
are
than
through
he
studios
does.
and production companies like that they've either built themselves or partnered with. So it's
I mean, TMG Studios is their own.
Exactly. Built themselves or partnered with is what I've said.
And what I'm saying is like
they didn't start there.
Shane could probably do that.
What I'm saying, okay, so what I'm saying is TMG started as what? You know what I mean? Just Noel and Cody in their fucking house, like you just said, like the same shit. But they were already famous at that point, so they were already getting views.
My whole point is you don't need a big production.
Correct.
That was the only point.
What I'm trying to say is that like a lot of people do need a big production. Whenever you have notoriety, you don't need fucking shit. All you need is a microphone and your first name on the title of the video, and you in the thumbnail saying, "Hello, guys, it's me." And anybody that's ever seen your face or heard your name before will click on it. Especially if they don't like you because they want to hear about how stupid you are or fucking confirm their bias of what they think about you, type shit.
I think like what we have is not a big production at all, and people still see it and they're like, "Wow, that solid setup."
Yeah.
You don't need. I mean, you just need good content and a solid idea. I think these days.
Theoretically, though, it's like this actually is a fairly like substantial production. Not substantial. It's not like we're putting thousands of dollars in this every year, but we have spent a fair amount of money on all this shit.
Reasonably, I guess.
I mean, the laptops alone.
That's true.
This is a fair amount of money, you know what I mean?
Interfaces.
Yeah, I mean,
microphones,
phone,
cables,
$1,100 phone that we're using as a camera type shit. You know what I mean?
Cables,
like, everything involved, the pictures and everything. Like even as all the way down to the fucking blanket on the wall blocking some sunlight. It's like there's the production that is in the room is much more than just like what somebody what I'm saying is like, yes, for us we've needed this type of production. We've built ourselves our foundation, and through the years we've been able to buy certain things that we like and trinkets and stuff, pictures.
We still need it to be better, I think.
Well, yes, true.
You
But
wanna
what I'm
upgrade.
trying to get to is that if either one of us was a viral superstar on TikTok, then most of this would have been paid for by a production company that just wanted us to record. But because neither one of us has that notoriety, we've had to deal with tech fucking difficulties, fucking.
Do you think like most of those big people have like
I'm sure
people
not
paying? I
most
think-
of them do. I'm sure most of them have offers, though. Most of them have say, hey, instead of you running your own podcast, we'll be the producers of it. We'll have slightly creative differences. We'll put our input in every now and then. But really, we want you to be the star of the show because of all this notoriety you'll get. All we'll do is just take a portion of the profits until we get paid. You good? She just woke herself up.
She was sleeping, was freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is most people don't, but I feel like most people get those offers to say, we'll be the producers of your podcast. We'll supply all this shit, and we'll supply a fucking brick and mortar for you to go and record the shit at. All we'll do is just take a portion of the profits from the podcast,
yeah, there's
and
probably
ad
some people
revenue and shit like that.
There's some people who probably.
I feel like if you're
Nelk probably does
if
that,
you're a
I'll say.
production company, you're dumb for not doing that. You have to be able to say, hey, we have a studio we put all this money into. We should get you in there, and you can record, and we'll just take a little piece of your action on the back end.
Yeah, but I feel like
You gotta be dumb if you're not.
you have
putting those offers
notoriety
out.
and you're like good enough of wherever you're at. I
Then
think
you can do it with a fucking iPhone in your shit with another iPhone. Fucking like the minorities, that was a super small production value, right? All they had was their iPhones, went around fucking college campuses, and then recorded shit, and then just fucking edited on their laptop in their dorm room.
Yep.
Got millions of fucking hits.
But yeah,
right?
with that, yeah, exactly.
And so like what I'm saying is like, yes, you don't need a high production value, but some people do.
yeah, but where I was going with it was like on TikTok, you could easily, like, of course, you know, like with 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 4
Mhm.
minutes, 5 minutes, you can have low quality stuff where the content is fucking good and you can gain a lot of followers.
But
and
that's
still
on
be good
anything,
and just
though.
release. Yeah, but I was
That's
what I-
why I
I'm
wasn't
saying is-
understanding why you're
it's
specifically
because it's
saying
just like with Vine or anything. Like you could do that on anything, but YouTube, the way that it's set up, with Twitter, the way that it's set up, it's not set up for that.
well,
It is like you can work off of it, and you know it's good for promotion. Facebook has it more set up like that, I guess, but not still. It's not the
I
same
guess
as like.
what I'm saying is
is, like,
like these
I
other.
think that TikTok definitely sets things up in a direction where you can use less time. You don't have to have as much, and really create something that is gonna last a while. Even though it's so much shorter, but
Yes.
you can still create a name for yourself. And people are seeing that. But like TikTok, I think a lot of people still see it as like the DIY. Like people haven't taken advantage of that
right.
content creation. Like I mean, in a way, podcasts do bits and they do cuts and they do like little clips and shit like that. But it's not the same.
Yeah, no, I guess like, and this will be like my final thought on it is just more so. I feel there was a uniqueness to certain social medias, like when you mentioned Vine, like the uniqueness of it was just that whatever you wanted to post, it had to be within 6 seconds, right?
Yeah, that's a
And
skill.
So
a
then
skill.
that changes the art concept. You know what I mean? Like it kind of limits it down to a certain level of content, right?
You have to get your point across and your idea across
Now,
in 6 seconds.
Instagram used to be just pictures and some videos and stuff, and it was more so just like a collage of art or things, pictures, and whatever was like from your life. Facebook was more interconnected, like we talked about. Snapchat had the whole like take
Stories.
a picture and it'll delete. Stories was later. That's what I'm saying. Like stories wasn't like when it first came out. Like I don't even think they had stories at first, right?
They're the first one to have stories.
They were the first one to have stories. That's what I'm saying. They were the first ones to implement it. But I'm pretty sure when it first came out, it was just like literally going back and forth with people. And like the concept that was so change worthy of that, like being an app you needed to download, was that the messages would appear and then disappear after 10 seconds, and then you would never have it. But now it's like you can save shit from people's stories type shit, because it's on, like, if you have it on the infinity type shit, whenever you post it, then people can like save it into chats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's weird, but like it's the concept of it has changed, right? So like all these different social medias now are just conceptually like becoming the same thing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
therefore,
what's the new thing, and how can I?
what I'm trying to
keep
say
up?
is like I don't see TikTok lasting that long. I'm sure there will be something else that's implemented, like an app that we haven't heard of yet, something like a Quibi or something like that that'll take off in that mode. I think that TikTok might try to introduce it, but it won't be as viable because people are still going to be using TikTok for what they're using it now, as well as trying to incorporate that. And then I feel like that'll just fuck the algorithm unless they have like a split down the middle, like this is regular TikTok and then this is fucking 10-minute shit TikTok. You know what I mean? Like that would be a weird thing to have. Like this one be 60 seconds, then this one's 10 minutes, then this one's 10 minutes, then this one's a minute and a half, and then this one's a minute and a half, and this one's 4 minutes, and then this one's 10 minutes, and then this one's 4 minutes. It's like what kind of algorithm are you working with there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So what I'm saying is I think that they might try to implement it, but I don't think it would execute very well. So I feel like there's going to be something else that's implemented soon. So I don't know. That's kind of my point on that.
We'll see.
But yeah, I got a jet because I got to get on a
This has
meeting
been the
in
Fine
10
Danny
minutes.
podcast. We did it. Stay tuned. We're going to keep coming at you.
Did it, baby.
We're doing it. Thank you, Doofles.
Love you guys. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Take care.